Hey, what's good, MJ?
How you doing, man? I'm glad you could show up to this meetup today, unlike the 2011 finals.
Really, man. I just got here and I'm already getting flamed.
You're right. I had to bring that up, though. It was too good to pass up.
I guess that's fair. So where do you want to start with this?
Well, I certainly want to start with awards. Check out this graphic. I have you beating MVPs, finals MVPs, scoring champions, defensive player of the years, and defensive team selections.
And I have you beat an all-star in all NBA appearances, as well as leading the league in assists 1 year.
I'll give you credit where it's due. Those all-star and all NBA selections are extremely impressive and really speak to your incredible longevity.
Thanks, man. I'd say that's one of the best arguments for me being the greatest. I've played a whopping 21 seasons of genuinely elite basketball to your 15 seasons, 13 of which were elite. I'm the only player to have accumulated over 30,000 points and 10,000 assists throughout their career. I'm the NBA's all-time leading scorer in the regular season and the playoffs, for crying out loud.
You definitely have longevity on your side. But let's not act like I was some slouch when it comes to that. I won the finals MVP at 35 years old, after all.
The thing is, the gap is pretty big. I remain one of the best players in basketball right now at 39 years old. When you were my age, you were just okay on the Washington Wizards, missing the playoffs entirely for 2 straight years.
Valid point, but for what you have in longevity, I beat you in peak. I mean, for crying out loud, I was scoring at will, being the best offensive player the game has ever seen, while being one of the best defenders in the league at the same time. Oh yeah, and let's not forget, in the midst of all that, I was 6-0 in the finals, in comparison to your 4-6.
Man, that's all your fans ever talk about in this debate. It's always just your 6 rings compared to my 4 and me losing 6 times. There's a reason why I lost 6 finals series. In the 2007 finals, I willed a bunch of nobodies all the way to the big dance just to run into the insane Spurs dynasty. In the 2014 finals, my running mate on the Heat, Dwayne Wade, was dealing with injury concerns that affected his play on the court, as well as once again facing a stacked Spurs team. When I returned to Cleveland in the 2015 NBA Finals, we took the upstart Warriors to 6 games despite being without Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, my 2 co-stars. And of course, in the 2017 and 2018 Finals, I had to face arguably the greatest team in NBA history with the Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry lead Warriors team that was basically unbeatable. I mean, come on. I won a championship when COVID hit the league. Could you imagine if the circumstances were a little different in my favor? How many championships I could have won? And what's crazy is despite all these obstacles, I still have 4 rings to my name.
Well, if you get to make excuses, then so do I. All of your fans criticized me for losing early in my career to the Celtics team led by Larry Bird that was stacked with 5 Hall of Famers, when I also had nobodies on my team. And you conveniently glossed over the fact that you reached the finals so many times, in part because the competition in your own conference was so weak. You played in what they called the Leastern Conference, because the East was so much weaker than the West, while back in my day, the East was considered the stronger conference.
How about instead of being all subjective and stuff, let's look at some stats. They don't tell the full story, but they are about as objective as we can get. Here's how our total stats compare.
That's cool and all, but the totals speak more to your longevity. If we look at the per game stats, though, they tell a different story.
Even though you have me in points per game, my assist totals show that I'm more of an all-around player than you were. And peep the efficiency, too.
Well, you take many more shots in the painted area near the basket, which tend to be significantly easier shots and help your field goal percentage. And played in an era where the three-point shot wasn't normalized as much as it was in your era, so I didn't necessarily need a three-point shot. Also, peep these advanced stats. I have you beat in most of these.
Can't argue with that. Finally, let's talk about impact beyond the court. You know, my efforts in social justice, education, and community development have been recognized globally. I'm not just a basketball player, I'm a cultural icon, a philanthropist, and a business mogul.
I can't deny the impact you've made off the court. You've used your platform in ways that extend far beyond basketball. But let's not downplay my impact either. I transformed the NBA into a global phenomenon. The Jordan brand is a cultural juggernaut, transcending basketball and influencing fashion, music, and beyond. And I've been involved in various charitable endeavors myself.
For real, MJ. At the end of the day, this debate will rage on forever. Fans will always have their preferences, biases, and arguments. But maybe that's the beauty of it. We've both left indelible marks on the game, inspired generations, and brought joy to millions.
Absolutely. And maybe, just maybe, the real GOAT was the friends we made along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself, so shall we agree to disagree?
I guess so.